Hi, my name is Joseph Alai, and welcome to part 3 of the Mastering Manifestation mini-series. That's a tongue twister. And where I basically go into the step-by-step explanation, essence, and laser-targeted systematic methodology behind how to manifest what you want in a very simple, systematic, easy-to-get way. So in the last video, I was talking a little bit about the fundamentals behind how to manifest in the sense of what you have to do in a general sense to get what you want. So what I want to talk about now is exactly how to implement this. I want to go through a couple examples, and then I have something to say in the end about all of this put together. So we talked a little bit about how we impress the subconscious mind, how that process in and of itself manifests the life that we want. I explain a little bit about what the facets of the awareness are, what the facets of imagination is, and how all of that together, if you know what you want, if you impress successfully on your subconscious mind, then you can very easily get what you want in a systematic way. So by the way, if you have not checked out those videos, absolutely go back to the first one. It should be linked down below, and start from the beginning so that you can kind of get the full gist of what's going on here. But anyway, I'll just jump right into it then. So I want to talk a little bit about more of the fundamental behind it, right? The awareness that creates all, the thing that we're invoking beyond any other explanation to get what we want. So there's the senses, the sensory world that we live in. This sensory world that we live in is what keeps our mind alive. It's what keeps this body alive. So the ego, I'm talking about the ego. Now the ego is just basically the separate self, the Joseph Alai, the you. And so this exists only because the external world exists. But this external world and this separate self is not the source of this external world. And what do I mean by that? It sounds extremely complicated. What I'm talking about is the awareness behind the scenes. So everything here is seen, felt, and experienced in awareness. So awareness could be referenced as the word I. So when I ask you who you are, you would say, I am, and then your name. For me, I am Joseph Alai. I am 30 years old. I live in San Diego. I am happy. I am content. All these different, ever-changing predicates on this phrase, they never remain the same, but that first part is I, and that always remains the same. Now, with manifesting, what we're essentially doing is we are impressing upon that I. We're impressing upon that I. So Neville Goddard talks about it as the I am. In Exodus, God says his name is I am. So I is God. But now here's the thing. We are all sharing that same I. We all have that same I. If I asked you, are you aware? You would say yes. But if I asked you, what is it that is aware of being you? It makes you think for a second. If I am Joe, I am happy. What is this I? I love myself. What is this I? What's this I that we're talking about? That is God. That's the God of Scripture. And we all share that self-same God, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. That I is where all experience is. That is the thing, that is the essence that is aware of all experience. So all experience, this external world, is all felt, experienced, tasted, touched, heard in this awareness. So all of this exists in this awareness. All the senses are known, and what are you? You are aware of what is known. So awareness in and of itself, the reason I'm saying this, there's a very specific reason, is because that is what is creating all of this. So the awareness is aware of being me. And when we become aware of something, when we imagine something, that becomes manifested external. And so what it means is that the source of creation itself is not in this tangible, objective world, but it is in the awareness realm. And that is why the way that you test this is to simply become aware of something. You close off, you shut off this external world by closing your eyes, relaxing, stop thinking about things, and you bring yourself into your mind's eye in first person point of view, and you experience what you would desire to experience. Now you've shut off this external world, but the subconscious mind does not know the difference between the external reality and the imaginative reality. And so when we bring that scene into our imagination, we impress it on the subconscious. The subconscious is the thing that essentially, for lack of better words, feeds or gives to awareness. Now, from there, we let go. We have no way in controlling the way that it manifests outward, not unless we put predicates around the sentences or the scenes that we impose. But the scenes themselves contain the limits therein. So if I created a general scene in my imagination, and if I just imagined I was having a conversation with someone and said, I received a bunch of money, there's the awareness, the infinite awareness, that infinite intelligence fills in all the blanks, and you will receive money. But if you say, James gave me $300, well, then you've put your self-imposed limits on it, and now James must give you $300. So it's both limiting and unlimited, because you can get whatever you want. And now here's the thing. The fact that we are made up of this awareness means that we are this awareness. We have this essence within us. We are this essence. This essence is everywhere. So if we are this essence of this thing called God, then therefore we must have the operant power of God. And that is how we can manifest. And that's a mind-blowing ideology. I've never heard it shared anywhere before like that. And it's the most freeing, crucial thing, because what it means is that we never have to worry about anything on this external world in order to get what we want. All we do is feed the image into awareness by imagining it, and then awareness refracts it. It's like having a prism or a gemstone. Awareness is like a big gemstone, and at all angles it's refracting the imaginal act that we give it. Now, there are time delays between the time that we imagine and the time that it's refracted, because it always comes in a natural way to some extent. But the instant we give this to awareness, it will begin to erupt. The world will begin to be influenced in a natural way by awareness. Every person involved, every animal involved, every weather storm involved, all of that will be influenced by awareness, refract it out, and then we will experience that thing. So with all this said, what I want to do is go into how to formulate your own technique. Now, this is absolutely astonishing, and I want to give you a couple examples. So I have something set up, and this is an incredible story. I have something set up. I have a belief in my mind that says for every dollar I spend or give away, I receive 5 in return. So what does that mean? How does that work? What's happening is I write this down. It impresses on my subconscious. Now it exists in my subconscious. As it exists in my subconscious, it's continuously fed to awareness. And when this thing erupts, when I spend $1, this is triggered, and then I will be given $5 back. Now, something interesting happened the other day. A friend of mine was in dire need. So I just gave her $2,000, whatever. Whatever. And so I did it. And so I did that. And then I gave someone else some money as well to pay for college. And so I just rested assured, like, there's no worries, man. Like, regardless or not if I had received any money in return, it's like, if I want to be happy, I want to do things that make me happy, right? So that would be one of them. Nevertheless, that very same day, I received $4,000 from various sources, a $6,000 check in the mail from a random source that I had I did not expect this from. And then today, which is the next day, I received an extra $1,500 in the mail. Now, what? How is that possible? So there are essentially, we can set up triggers. We can imagine the end and watch that happen. All of our beliefs, moods, assumptions, imaginal acts, they will all be manifested outward, and there's absolutely no limit to this. So how do you create a technique from this knowledge? How do we use these patterns to shape what we want? So there's proof now that we can create triggers. A trigger is basically what I've just said. Every dollar I spend, I receive 5 in return. Now, how can we use that to create a technique? That means that metaphorical things or simple beliefs that we create, could be any beliefs, have the power to create. So we know that we have to impress on the subconscious mind. We know we have to impress upon the subconscious mind. That's all we have to do, because everything is within. It's all awareness. It has nothing to do with anything external from ourselves. Nothing to do with anything external from ourselves. And so once we figure out kind of that formula, impress, express, impress, express, we can then say, okay, well, how can I do this? So what we think is, one of the things that I used to do, this was very interesting, is I used to do these hypnotic inductions. These hypnotic inductions that I used to do is I used to go into an airport in my imagination, like a super high-tech airport in outer space, just because. And I used to sit at a bar, and at the bar, there used to be different things on tap. But what was on tap? What would be on tap was mystical experiences, imaginal power, money, there were various other ones. And sometimes even now when I still use this technique, I'll just come up with a random one. And so, but what would happen when I used to go into these imaginal scenes, these hypnotic inductions, I would drink this. And so therefore there was a belief in me that when I drank this, my power would increase. So even then I would see, or another one was impressionable subconscious mind. So I would find that anytime I drank this in my dream, it would actually have effects on reality. Sometimes I would drink it and then in my imaginal scene, right? This is all in imagination. I would go in my imaginal scene and I would drink it, and then I would start to walk, and then instantly I would go into a mystical experience, a vision. I would be given knowledge. So what I'm trying to say here is it doesn't need to be a literal thing, but we can create our own techniques. Like I've heard of I don't know, various techniques. Really funny, actually, these techniques. One of the ones that I've basically done is just write things down. You write things down. It's a simple technique. The whole idea is that we just need to get something into our subconscious. And so it could be every time you snap your fingers, you receive wisdom. It could be every time you take a sip of water in real life, you're given $100. It could be anytime you look at a picture in real life, you automatically get a text message from someone that you love. It could be that you automatically gain more wisdom anytime you blink. It could be anything at all. But the whole point is that you create a system that works for yourself. You find anything at all that can trigger you, anything that you want to experience. You can say, anytime I write something down and put it into this box, it automatically manifests. That's what I'm talking about. So the whole idea is you can be creative in the sense of what to set a system up. I have so many systems going on all around the clock to the point where I forget half of them. And sometimes when things manifest, at first I'm alarmed, and then I realize that I've set it into motion, because we have built-in forgetters. And that's the one thing, that's actually a beneficial thing that allows us to create what we want, because if we're continuously obsessed on the thing, then it's very hard to let it go, which means that we're not dropping it into the ground, which means that it's not gonna manifest until we let that happen. So in essence, the point in saying all of this is that techniques itself, there's no limitations. We don't need to raise our vibration. We don't need to be happy. We don't need to do anything at all. All we need to do is set up some type of trigger. If we do this, we can get whatever we want, however we want. I write something down, and I say every time I write something down, it impresses, and then I'm operating based on this. We just need to penetrate the subconscious mind with something, some instructions to give to awareness, always in the I am, I have. Every time I do this, I receive. You can get whatever you want. There's absolutely no limitations. You could even do every day. Anytime I write something down, I automatically become more peaceful. Anytime I close my eyes for 3 seconds, I automatically go into the state akin to sleep. Every time I say I want, I actually right after that say I have, or every time I say I want, I mean I have, or something like that. Anything that you want, anything that you want. Just be creative. You be creative. If you can set up something like anytime you wear this special pair of shoes, you automatically have good luck. These can all be true. It's not the shoes itself that does it. It's not the drink itself that does it. It's all by the law. It's all the law. It's all the law. And so I want to talk to you for a minute about some of the ideas behind the best way to start implementing systems like this. So for me personally, my experience has been manifest or die. I had my life was essentially in shambles. I couldn't get sober, I couldn't get clean, couldn't hold a job, couldn't hold a relationship, kept almost not making it. A lot of my friends didn't make it rather. And so what happened? How did I go from there to free? How did I go from almost a goner to the curtains closed, to the curtains wide open and the world is my oyster? The way that I did this was by persisting. I persisted. For nearly a decade, I persisted. And what a freaking awesome thing to persist. But persisting, what does that mean? It means to set up the right environment. It means to keep the correct information going into your mind. It means to test it properly. It means to have someone to talk to. So for me, I didn't have all of those things when I first began, but I really truly believe that through that sheer desire of my heart, that is why this all manifested. That is why my obsession ended up reaping rewards for everybody, because that was a deep desire in my heart. I've always been known as the campaigner. That's my personality type. And so I share things that I believe are very helpful for people. And in doing so, that is why all of this came about. And so I have a VIP program that's that I'm working on. It's almost finished. It's about to be done. And basically what it is it's set up to have a community, knowledge, testing, feedback, and support in a systematic way, because manifesting is best used as a lifestyle. Think of anything in this world. If you do not continuously use it, if you do not continuously test it, if you do not continuously inundate yourself with this, think about it. Our whole life, we did not know this. If we stop, this even happens to me. When I stop for a week or two, if I don't think about it, if I don't read something, if I don't write something, if I don't talk to somebody, I fall back asleep a bit. And the days and weeks go by, you fall asleep more and more. One of the biggest problems I find with my clients is that they do not have anyone to talk to about this. They don't have anyone to talk to about this. And I wonder if you can relate. Or there are people, but there's these conflicting ideas that are confusing and limiting. I believe, and I've experienced, and my clients have experienced, and my viewers have experienced, and there's been thousands of stories submitted, and I have thousands myself, that there are no limits. You don't need to do anything. As I said earlier, we are this God. We are this awareness. There's nothing that we need to do. We don't need to get better at, we don't need to raise our vibration. We don't need to eat a certain thing. We don't need to wear a specific shoelace. We don't need to meditate for 6 hours. We are in creation. We are at the edge of creation continuously, in the middle, in the beginning, in the end. And so that's what this program is set up to do, is to completely get everyone together in a laser focused way, a way that's systematic and time tested, the way that if I could have had this in the beginning, this would have cut off half a decade or more, 8 years of my learning curve, because I didn't have this. There still is nothing like this. And so that's what I'm here to do. I'm a computer person. I'm a software guy. I'm a physics guy. I'm a math guy. And so all these things, I've been able to find these systematic patterns to master manifesting in a very easy way. And so this program that will be coming out, it will have a place for everyone who wants to master manifesting and get exactly what they want. That all my clients that have stuck with me throughout have already been doing this and getting the things that they want. It's basically this system on a continuous basis, month after month after month, to master this and change yourself, and then therefore change the world, to get anything you want, to be free of your addictions, free of your pain, to achieve your greatest desires. And there's no limit. And so I'm super excited about it. And I just wanted to drop that here at the end of this, thing. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was informative. It's not the technique that manifests. It's the system within. It's the connection and awareness inside awareness, refracted outward. We're all one. And so, voila. Thank you.